Hey guys, it's Mia here and welcome to another bookish video. Now today we are going to be talking about All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. And before we get into the review, I just want to say right now, if you're someone that struggles with mental health or self-harm or worse thoughts, then this book probably isn't for you because it very heavily goes into the topic of those things. So if this book looks interesting and you want to check it out, just keep that in mind because it very heavily goes into these topics. If you don't want to hear those topics because they trigger you or they make things worse for you, then go ahead and skip this video because I would understand if you don't want to watch it. Now, assuming everyone had time to click off the video that does not want to hear about those things, I'm going to continue into the review. Now, this was actually a book recommended to me by a friend of mine, and I don't know why he always tells me about stories and playlists and stuff that make me want to cry, but he succeeded yet again in bringing a tear to my eye. And in case you don't know, this is the story of two teenagers, Violet and Finch. Everybody calls him Finch, but his name is Theo. And one day, on a chance meeting, Finch is up on his school bell tower thinking about jumping. Not because he really wants to jump, but because it helps him think about all the reasons why he's still alive, and like he's thinking maybe he could make a grand exit out of this world and leave a statement that way. But he notices a girl up there as well, and instead of jumping to the ground below, he decides to help talk her off the ledge. Later, so she doesn't feel like a freak or a bully, or not a bully, a freak or looked down on by people, Finch tells everyone that she helped him off the ledge. So from then on, Violet and Finch kind of become inseparable in a way because Finch feels drawn to Violet, and Violet's like, he saved my life, he's not as bad as everyone thinks, he's not this freak, I don't know why everybody's bullying him. And there's a lot of times where we see from Finch's perspective how many times he's actually contemplated about death. He's got all of these like notes he keeps up on the wall with like random words and random quotes and all of this stuff that he thinks throughout his day, and he's constantly trying to be close to Violet and keep her near him. Well, one day there's this school project in their geology class where they have to go and explore the town that they live in Nevada, I think? I forget. But they have to explore their town and their state and just take and leave certain souvenirs as proof that they were there and as proof that they had left something behind, as a way to like prove that they didn't just get something from a store and acted like it was from a certain place. So they go above and beyond on this project and go to all these different things, and as they go to all of these different things, they get closer and closer to each other, and you see a romance start to form there. And the reason Violet was on that ledge that day was because she was suffering from severe survivor's guilt, because her sister had died in a car crash after picking her up from some party, and her sister told her the direction to go, and Violet's like, if I never would have told her to take that way home, she would probably still be here today. Why did she die and I lived? And Finch had an abusive drunkard of a dad who beat him up and beat up his mom, and that's why he had a rough home life, and that's why he is so downhearted and thinks that he's not good enough to be in this world, which that would be so scary. And this book will make you think a lot. It will make you cry. It's a very touching story, and you want to root for Theo. You want him to get better. You want to see Violet get into that car with Theo and get over her fear of driving and being in a car. And the author, she does not sugarcoat anything. She does not hold her punches, and she tells the story that she wants to tell. You can read it or you cannot read it. She told it beautifully, and I really enjoyed this story, and it makes you think a hell of a lot, for sure. It's a very deep story, and if you're into deeper, more realistic stories, and you're not the type of person that I mentioned before who this deeply affects, then I would pick this up, because it's a very heavy book. So if you're down for a good cry and a very heavy story that's pretty realistic and doesn't hold its punches, I recommend All the Bright Places. It was very good and extremely well told, and just hands down to the author, because it was amazing. I didn't even care that we had the two different perspectives, because it didn't bother me at all, because I wanted to see both sides of their stories, because they were unique people, and it did fit to see them from both perspectives and to see how each character was feeling in the moment, and that made it all the better. So I really enjoyed this one. Now the next one I'm going into, or honestly kind of already finished because I just now did the review for All the Bright Places, is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. So I will talk about that in just a second.